All right, peace to the universal family and to the everybody that listens to the show. Peace to my co-hosts who are not here, and peace to everybody that support this show. I really appreciate y'all. We're growing. We're growing rap more faster than I thought we were. But thank you to everybody that support this show. Appreciate y'all. Let me go to YouTube and see did it boot up. All right, YouTube booted up pretty fast. That's a good sign to me. Let me see. Can I send out something for? Oh, that booted up fast. Okay. Let me. It even Twitter didn't even really give me a hard time. Okay, so that's a great thing. All right. It's just taking a little time for it to load up, but it jumped right on it. Salute to you guys that be here every day. Y'all literally here every day. Like I always say, long as y'all pop in, just pop in and stay for a few seconds and then leave. Just pop in. I appreciate it. Now we're doing the slow down stuff. Soon as I try to load up Twitter, then we want to slow down. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. Made me scared to read my blog because I gotta read off because I wrote a script, so I want to read off my script. Oh my goodness. It's freezing up again. Come on, Twitter. It's Twitter. Twitter is messing me up right now. Come on, it's Twitter with your funky boy. Come on, Twitter, X, whatever you want to be called. Come on, it got me frozen. It's Twitter. It's me jumping on these other sites while I'm doing my live stream. But I apologize to y'all for all the technical difficulties I had in the last couple of days. I appreciate y'all still sticking around. Now there we go. But I don't think Twitter really has anything to do with the fan base that come and listen and watch the show. It's just that I just want to make sure. Yeah, I want to make sure that come on Twitter. Give me a second. Twitter's still trying to download. Duh. Just when I thought everything was doing good. Come on, Twitter. I know this is the most unprofessional podcast out there. And I like it. Because we don't do all that extra stuff. I try to keep everything as natural as possible. But still gotta be professional about it. Yeah, you gotta be professional about it, regardless of the fact. Let me see. And it's gonna be crazy because I know I might have to edit this episode and my last episode. So that's gonna that's gonna be annoying to me because I'm actually have to download the video to to break it down. So it's how would I say digestible for y'all to see it. Come on, Twitter. It's Twitter being a problem right now. I would have thought it would have been any other app that I would have been using. But it's Twitter really been problem. All right, I'm about to close Trump while I'm trying to close Twitter. Yeah. Give me a second. Shout out to Don D 205. You know, he does it on Twitch. He does it for 6 days a week. He does it Eastern Standard Time. I think it's like 12:15, something like that. Yeah, salute to Don Day. Salute to everybody that shows up every day, man. That's y'all giving me some time out y'all day. Salute to y'all. Uh, Now I'm like, am I gonna be able to read my scripts or my blog? Because it's like when I go on another screen, it wanna act up. I'm trying to delete this Twitter account because it seems like it's taking energy. I mean, not the account, but the screen is like it's taking a lot of energy. So let me see. Give me a second, y'all. Get rid of this Twitter. Dad. No, my I wanna. It's always something. Excuse me. Hope I ain't got no type of eye thing going on. All right. Hopefully we're good. You know, nobody showed up or popped in, but hopefully we're good. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start the show. Hold up. It's like the chat is not loading. Y'all might be in here. There's always some. Oh, there we go. Legendary Boxing 2026. Salute for popping back in. Yeah, we've had some. I'm having some technical difficulties. I hate when stuff like that. It's always like when I think I have a perfect show. Boom. And there we go. Like that. Lamont Davis, what's up, my brother? Salute. And my screen froze again. It's freezing. I don't know why it's doing this. I I know and I don't know, but Dad, come on now. Yeah, it's like freezing. Yeah, let me see. I think I got it. I think I did it. Salute to AJ Pass because he told me something about this, but I did that the last time. I mean, before this video. But salute to everybody that's popping in. Um, I'm trying to. I closed a tab unintentionally. It's one of my tabs, so hopefully that doesn't act up on me. But salute to all of y'all that popped in, even though I was having technical difficulties. It's always something. Every day it's always a technical difficulty. It doesn't help that I'm up all night watching Don D videos, giving them support and stuff. I stay up like be doing my shows, and then I'm doing other things, and then I listen to a show all the way through. And on the East Coast side, that's like 12 at night to 5 in the morning. I'll be listening to a show. So I'm like, oh man. All right, let me see. Yeah, I got. Give me a second, cause I got these. I got questions I want to answer. There's questions that people want me to answer, but also have a script that I have. Okay, give me a second. Even though I never stick to the script, because here comes somebody popping in. All right. All right. Why 2K is the best choice to make a boxing game and how they still could ruin it. What's good, everybody? This is Poe, and welcome back to Poe and the Community speaking their mind about boxing video games. Today's episode is about telling the whole truth, not just the convenient half. Because right now, when people talk about 2K and boxing, the conversation is split. Some say 2K is the best hope boxing games have. Others say 2K will destroy boxing with monetization and balance. The reality is it could go either way. So today we're answering two questions in one episode. Why 2K is currently the best positioned company to make a boxing video game. How 2K could still completely ruin boxing if they get the philosophy wrong. Let's talk honestly. All right. Segment one. Clearing the Don King prize fighter myth once and for all. First, let's clean up the history. 2K did not develop Don King prize fighter. They published it. The game was developed by Venom Games. The distinction matters. Publishing means funding, marketing, distribution. It does not mean designing boxing mechanics, building AI logic, creating stamina, fatigue, and career system. So when people say 2K already failed at boxing, that's simply false. What we're discussing today is what happened if 2K actually built a boxing game themselves with full control over systems, staffing, and long-term vision. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. All right, nobody ain't saying anything. All right, I might be able to just breeze through this. All right. Boxing is a system. Boxing is a systems sport, not an animation sport. This is where most boxing games fail. They treat boxing as punch animations, visual flair, highlight moments. But boxing is really about decision making, risk versus reward. You heard that? Risk versus reward. A lot of people don't like to risk doing certain things. And I'm not talking about that slugfest and brawlers mentality. Conditioning over time, style mismatch, mental pressure. That means boxing games live or die on system design. This is where 2K stands apart. 2K specializes in attribute ecosystems, fatigue and wear and tear layers, AI behavior logic, long-term progression curves. They don't just simulate matches, they simulate careers and leagues. That foundation is essential for boxing. Career mode is the soul of boxing, and 2K understands that. Let's be blunt. A shallow career mode kills boxing games. 2K already understands long-term progression, attribute decay, injury accumulation, narrative arcs driven by performance, player choice with consequences. Now apply that to boxing, amateur pipelines, prospect development, prime years, decline phases, damage history affecting future fights. Most studios don't even attempt this depth. For 2K, this type of ecosystem design is normal. Sliders customization and trusting the player. Another major reason 2K stands above most companies, they trust the player. Boxing fans are not one audience, somewhat hardcore simulation, somewhat accessibility, somewhat offline only universes, somewhat AI only league simulations. Most studios pick one lane and force everyone into it. I've been saying that for the longest. Steel City is trying to force us to play one way. And it's a casual fan way. It's a fighting game way. But they're trying to force us to fight one way. They're not thinking about the hardcore boxing fans and the hardcore sports gaming fans. They're thinking about the casual fans that leave. They don't stay with a game long for. They don't buy all the DLC. You know why a casual fan would buy the DLC? Because the hardcore fan bought the DLC. That's why they will buy it. 2K's strength has always been sliders, custom rules, tunable AI behavior. That flexibility is critical in boxing, where realism is subjective and playstyles vary widely. The fear is real. Monetization can kill boxing. Now let's address the fear head on. When fans hear 2K, they think VC. They think paywalls. They think progression monetization. And that fear is justified. If monetization ever touches conditioning, stamina, punch power, attributes, competitive advantages, then boxing is dead on arrival. Boxing improvement must come from time, damage, risk, experience, not money. That line cannot be crossed. The business reality fans don't like to hear. The business reality fans don't like to hear. Give me a second. Hopefully y'all can hear me because I don't see nobody in the chat. Like talking. All right. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Boxing is not the NBA. There is no player union, no collective bargaining agreement, no centralized licensing. Every boxer is an individual negotiation. Different managers, different promoters, different image rights demands. Paying everyone up front is financially risky, logistically brutal, sometimes impossible. Sometimes impossible. That's why they need to let boxers. Don't let people like Ty Grisham. He gets some boxers, but don't let people like Ty Grisham. Let people like Sean Porter, people that actually box, talk to these boxers. The people it was so many people that wanted to be in round for round just on the point that I was a boxer myself at some point. I understood what boxing was. I used to have conversations with people behind. I made friends with some people behind the scenes. So you should get somebody that's actually a boxer to be trying to help get these boxers. All right. All right. Let me get back to. Let me see. Paying everybody up front is financially risky, logistically brutal, sometimes impossible. Even billion-dollar companies have budgets. This is what I be telling people. Even with EA, even though EA is real cheap, because for one, you didn't have over 50 boxers in any of your games. But Steel City, an indie that started out as an indie company, has over 200 people signed. I would say over 300 people signed, but they don't. Steel City actually had what's that? The organizations. EA said they couldn't sign them. So you know that right there. All right. Even billion-dollar companies have budgets, have risk ceilings. They don't take a lot of risk because they have investors and shareholders. So they're not going to take risks. No fans like, oh man, this and that. They still a billion-dollar company. Y'all still don't get it. So sometimes it's not even, you can't even have this conversation with certain fans because their thing is they want what they want no matter what, but they don't want to pay for it. All right, then they got billion-dollar companies have return on interest expectations. Return on interest expectations, ROI. This is why DLC exists in boxing, not as greed, but as survival. People don't understand that. Now, now that I like pay attention to stuff, a poor person would never understand what a rich person go through. Some of them, some of the rich people. But a poor person would never understand when a rich person has a business, especially if they got multiple businesses. A poor person would never understand that at any minute you make the wrong decision, wrong investment, you can lose your business. Now imagine if EA got 300 boxes back at that time when Fight Night Champion was around. Imagine if they had 300 boxers back in the day when Fight Night Champion happened. It would have bankrupt the company. If it didn't bankrupt the company, they would have took a huge hit because they would have paid them boxers, which y'all wanted them to pay them boxers whatever they want, whatever you think the boxers deserve, and be in the game, and you don't pay for nothing but the game. That don't pay them. Especially how the sales with Fight Night Champion did. So y'all, and a lot of y'all better, well, if we had 300 boxers, Fight Night Champion would have sold better. No, it wouldn't have. No, it wouldn't have. Nobody was paying attention to the roster when they didn't buy Fight Night Champion. That is not the reason why they did not buy Fight Night Champion. When DLC is responsible versus when is exploitive. DLC can be the right solution if used correctly. Responsible DLC, boxer packs, era packs, historic rosters, gyms, arenas, presentation, career or story expansion. Give me a second. Excuse me. DLC allows boxers to be paid individually, rosters to grow substantially, ongoing post-launch support. Now you think about a company like Steel City. I know the game is broke, but we're not talking about that right now. I know. Now, Steel City, they're not an indie company anymore, but still they're not EA. They're not a $1 billion company by no way they're nowhere near $1 billion company. So y'all expecting them to pay all these, pay all these boxes straight up and no DLC. A lot of people say, oh, it shouldn't be no DLC because just a lot of y'all are cheap. If the DLC was a quarter, y'all still would be complaining. I literally saw something like that happen. I literally saw that. They gave DLC, I think it was $1 or something, some company did. And people were still complaining. That's crazy. Give me a second. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. All right, give me a dust filter. All right, give me a second. All right, DLC allows boxers to be paid individually, rosters to grow substantially, ongoing post-launch support. Exploitive DLC, buying attributes, buying stamina recovery, buying punch power, buying competitive advantages. Monetization should fund assets, not ability. Monetization should fund assets, not ability. Because a lot of y'all, I'll be looking at y'all and be like, yo, y'all really cheap. Or y'all really just want everything for nothing. These boxers put their life on the line. So a lot of them feel like in any aspect of business, I need to think about my generational wealth and stuff like that, or me having money. A lot of fans feel like, hey, I paid for your fight. You know what the boxer gave you? The fight. He put his life on the line at that fight. Y'all be thinking that after that fight, they owe you something. Boxers don't owe you anything. He gave you entertainment. And that's it. At that time, he gave you entertainment. If you like what he did and he's trying to put it in the game, that's on you to support it if you want to. You're not forced to, hey, if he's not in the game and you got to pay for him, that's on you. But you trying to force companies to give you something free that boxers signed on for. They signed on to get paid. I know it's hard for a lot of people to fathom that, but they sign a contract to get paid. Some of them, because I know it's a lot. Is not a lot, but there are boxers that actually just want to be in a boxing game. I came across plenty of them when I was helping round for round. There were plenty of boxers that wanted to be in for free. I think David Tua want little to nothing or free. He just want to be in a boxing game. He was excited. He said, "You think I could be in a boxing game?" I say, "Heck yeah, man! You're David Tua." I say, "You're a generational fighter." Let me see. Monetization must fund assets, not ability. Once money affects skill, realism collapse. How 2K could still ruin boxing. This is what we got to talk about. How 2K can still ruin boxing. I know a lot of y'all say, hey, shout out to Don D205. He helped me with, I was thinking about this idea, and then Don D kept bringing it up. So I was like, let me add on to it. Let me build on it. Don D205, shout out to you, man. Now let's talk about the dangers. Me and Don D ain't talking about the dangers. I'm talking about the dangers. Now let's talk about the dangers because they are real. 2K could ruin boxing if they treat boxing like an esports. If they treat boxing like an esport. I'm gonna let that one sink in on some of the people that know. If you know, you know. Let me see if y'all anybody in the chat talking. If you know, you know. All right. $2K could ruin boxing if they treat boxing like an esports. Boxing is not symmetrical. It's not fair. It's not meant to be. Let me read that again to the people in the background. The people in that they can't hear and they're yelling, I can't hear you. I don't understand what you're saying. Treating box if 2K treat boxing like an e-sport, boxing is not symmetrical. It's not fair. It's not meant to be. This is what I hear right here a lot. It's not fair. I'm hearing Ash Habib say that. He wasn't saying that at first. He wasn't saying that at first. We got to make it fair for everybody. So I gave everybody the loose foot movement. We gave them this. We gave them that. That sound like EA talk. Even though EA had different styles, they only had 6, 7. They only had about 6, 7 styles in the game. But it's not fair. That's crazy. When I said that, I'm like, hold up. Is chess fair? Is checkers even fair? So it's weird. It's not meant to be. Let me see. It's not fair. It's not meant to be. Overbalancing systems would erase identity instantly, normalizing stamina and movement. If everyone moves the same and never truly fatigues, strategy disappears. Boxing is about managing weaknesses, not hiding it. Let's, all right, let analytics override boxing knowledge. If they let analytics override boxing knowledge, this is what Steel City is doing. Not 2K yet. I don't know if they're making a boxing game or not. Hopefully they will. Real boxing includes slow rounds and ugly fights. Real boxing includes slow rounds and ugly fights. That's true and not true, because the how fast a fight goes and how fast a fight doesn't go, it depends on you and your opponent. Because a lot of y'all, if you speed up everything, it becomes an arcade game. But if you fight realistically, hey, I gotta speed up because he's moving too. I mean, he's not doing things. He's like everything legit. You know, he's like moving slow and doing little things that will make the fight be slow. It's on you. That's why we said people complain about, hey, he's boring. Hey, he's not. But when you're playing a boxing game, it's on you. It's not your opponent. You want your opponent to stand in front of you. That's not what boxing is. You will get somebody hurt if you were a trainer. You will literally get somebody hurt. The person you train come back to the corner said, I'm standing in front of him and he's hitting real hard. I don't think I can keep taking all them punches like that. He's keep catching me. And you say, well, just stand there and maybe you're going to get one punch in between his punches. That's a fool. You move and create angles. Your movement create angles, openings and stuff like that. Your movement. You move to the right. You move to the left. You move back. You know, you do different things like that. But y'all think y'all want everything to be in close proximity. I hear people that's actually boxing fans that be saying that crap. I'm like, are you really a boxing fan? Yo, it'd be crazy to me. It's like the casual fans hypnotize the boxing fans. Shut up, y'all. All right. Let analytics override boxing knowledge. Real boxing includes slow rounds and ugly fights. Not really. If everyone is forced to be exciting, boxing becomes a highlight reel. That's basically what I was trying to say. They want everything to be a highlight reel. You have to make your fight a highlight reel. When I used to box, I used to try to force the highlight reel. Actually, I was trying to just I didn't want to go in the late rounds and be tired. So I used to try to get it over as fast as possible. Highlight, if every fight is forced to be exciting, boxing becomes a highlight reel, not a sport. All right. Chase casuals by flattening death. This is what, if 2K does this. Chase casual by flattening death. Death doesn't scare people. Opacity does. And then y'all trying to, opacity don't mean clear. Man, you can still see a little bit, but it's not clear. So death does not scare players, opacity does. Remove options in death and boxers lose their soul. I said this about Undisputed. I know this conversation is about 2K. But I said these things about Undisputed. I know what I'm talking about. I know a lot of people like, Poe, you just be talking. You think you know everything. No, I know stuff, but I don't know everything. Because if I knew everything, I would have made my own boxing game. I would have made my own boxing game, literally. But I do tend to do my research. A lot of people don't. They don't do their research. They do not research anything. Developers can tell them anything. It's hard to do this. We can't do it. Yes, you can. Anything in real life you can do and add it into a game. It's on y'all, the studio, if they want to add it or not. But then you got these people keep saying, nah, the casual fans not going to like that. Or everybody's not going to like that. So it shouldn't be in the game. But why isn't it an option? That's the thing I'm saying. And y'all should be repeating these things. Why aren't these things options? That's how you keep fans, with options. Let me see. Rush the roster for marketing. This 2K stuff. This how they will fail. Rush the roster for marketing. Style is mechanical, not cosmetic. Quantity without authenticity turns legends into skins. Uh-oh. This sounds familiar. Just take the legend part out of it. It's basically saying that Steel City rushed the game. It's a style is mechanical, not cosmetic. Quantity without authenticity turn legends into skins when they rush out the roster for marketing. Steel City is a marketing tool. Everything that they're doing is about marketing. Let me get back on 2K because I'm about to start like elevating on stuff. Like, I don't want to get triggered. All right. Ignore boxing minds in development. See, these things be sounding so familiar. Ignore, but this is how 2K will fail. Ignore boxing minds in development. Without trainers, historians, boxers, judges, and referee guidance systems, realism will always lose. Yep. Let me see. The real risk isn't 2K, it's philosophy. So here's the truth. 2K has the tools, the money, the infrastructure, the experience, but boxing doesn't need power. It needs humility. If 2K respects boxing as medics, no, I'm reading that wrong. If 2K respects boxing as metric tree, boxing fatigue, boxing slowness, boxing imperfection, they could save the genre. If they optimize boxing for metrics, fairness, monetization, engaged curves, they're ruining it faster than anyone before them. Hold up. I know y'all say, hey, Poe, you said this is about 2K. But no, check it out. If 2K optimize boxing for metrics, fairness, monetization, engagement curves, they're ruining it faster than anyone before them. Steel City already did it. They optimized the game for metrics, fairness, monetization, and encouragement curves. All right, let me get back to. I'm sticking with 2K. All right, my closing thoughts on this. Let's land this. Let's land this honestly. Okay. Fans are right to fear pay to win. Companies are right to fear sustainable licenses. Boxing is uniquely hard to fund. DLC and microtransactions can be the compromise if they fund boxers instead of exploiting players. Right now, whether people like it or not, 2K is the best positioned company to make a real boxing video game. I know people gonna say, "No, man, EA has more experience. No, 2K will make a better boxing game." I don't care what experience EA has. And this is what I'm gonna break down to y'all, and this gonna hurt y'all feelings. The majority of them people that worked on them titles moved on to other companies. And like the thing saying, 2K is the best positioned company to make a real boxing game. Stop thinking about all the negative things about 2K. But they are positioned better to make a boxing video game. But they also carry the biggest responsibility. 2K would carry the biggest responsibility. Boxing doesn't forgive shortcuts. The sport of boxing doesn't forgive shortcuts. All right, let me answer. Let me see my questions. All right, yeah, my questions. All right, I got some questions I'm gonna answer. Let me see who I got in here. I got a nice list of questions. Hopefully the show is going through. I hope the show is like working. Please don't let me be wasting my time going through this and then I gotta do another show later on or tomorrow. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna read some questions off. This is fan Q&A. Hard questions about 2K, boxing, and future of the genre. All right. Some people agree, some people push back. Some people were nervous, some people were angry. And that's exactly what I want. So in today's episode is a fan Q&A. This section of it is a Q&A. Real questions, real concern, real answers. No hype, no dodging, no corporate talking points. Let's get in it. Let's get it. All right. Here go the question. Didn't 2K already fell with Don King Prize Fighter? No. And this still is the most repeated concept. 2K did not develop Don King Prize Fighter. They published it. The publisher was Venom Games. And that's not semantics. That's the difference between who funded the game and who designed the game systems. So using the game as proof that that 2K can't do boxing just doesn't hold up. Isn't 2K just going to turn boxing into VC grind? Virtual currency. This is the fear I saw the most, and it's valid. If VC touches conditioning, punch power, stamina, competitive advantages, then boxing is dead. Full stop. But here's the nuances people miss. All modern boxing games need post-launch revenue to survive. Each company has a budget. Look up how many games does EA have. Look up and see how many games 2K have. And with Steel City, I hate giving them a pass, but Steel City is one company. They got one title. So they really kind of struggling, even though you said they stole over 1 million copies. Yeah, but then the investors and the shareholders and the staff, that eats that money up real quick. All right, let me see. Where was I at? All modern boxing need post-launch revenue to survive. All modern boxing games need post-launch revenue to survive. The real question is whether monetization exists. Oh, the real question isn't whether monetization exists, it's what it touches. See, I should be reading these questions in my head. I mean, reading them and try to keep them in my brain, and then I'd be like, when I read it, I don't miss certain things. All right. The real question is whether monetization exists. It's what it touches. Paying boxers through DLC, that makes sense. Y'all hear that? Paying boxers through DLC makes sense. A lot of y'all, imagine if they gave upfront money. I keep telling you, if they gave these boxers upfront money, they will go bankrupt. If the boxer agreed to DLC, hey, it's on the DLC how the DLC sells. You agreed to it. Buying boxers' abilities, that's unacceptable. Buying boxers' abilities, that's unacceptable. That line has to be drawn clearly. All right. Another question. Why not just make all boxers unlockable for free? I was just talking about this, right? All right. In a perfect world, sure. In reality, that's not how boxing licensing works. There is no union, no collective bargaining, no centralized rights. Every boxer is an individual negotiation with different managers, different promoters, different demands. Paying everyone up front is extremely risky, sometimes impossible. DLC, and you know what? This the craziest thing is. I formulated this idea, but did never get credit for this. I just been like, wouldn't it be easier for y'all? You know, I was saying this with round for round, and I also threw that idea out there to Ash. I know y'all get mad or whatever, but I threw it out like the only way you're going to get a whole lot of boxers is through DLC. There's no way around it. That's the only way you're going to get a lot of boxers, a lot of referees, and everybody else that's in boxing. You're going to have to do it through DLC in some way or form or fashion. But the people that keep saying, hey, man, we're paying for everything, blame it on you wanting the boxer. If you can't afford the boxer, just don't get them. And you know what y'all gonna even if the company don't make the boxers extreme or pay to win type things, y'all gonna try to find a way to say that boxer is gooder than what he should be. And a lot of y'all are not even fans of certain boxers, so y'all don't know if he's doing something that he's not supposed to be doing, or is it realistic, or is a pay to win. Y'all gonna call everything a pay to win, so y'all don't have to pay to win. Y'all be trying to low key hustle hustle companies. It's like you took a bite off a hot dog and say, "Hey, I think a rat bit this first." Yeah, you the rat. All right, let me get back to this. DLC allow boxers to be paid fairly, rosters to grow responsibly, the game to survive financially. The problem isn't DLC. The problem is abuse of DLC. All right, here's a question. Why is 2K better than other companies? I know y'all was saying that, like, hold up, man, you talking too much about, why ain't talking about EA? I'm not going to really talk about EA. Not really, but I'm going to get on them probably next week or sometime this week. I might, why EA will be make a better boxing game than any other company. And y'all, a lot of y'all would say, well, they got the most experience. That don't really mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. It's just they was the only company making a game. Don't mean that they make the best games. They make the best sports games. All right, let me see. Why is 2K better than other companies? Because boxing requires skill and systems, not just passion. But 2K does have passion. But you can't. Oh, this is a question somebody sent. Why is 2K better than other companies? But let me build on this. 2K, there's no passion in that company. You can tell, you can see when passion is in the company. Like with 2K, I know y'all. We're not talking about the things that they do bad. We're talking about the things that they do right. Because if you're a fan of Operation Sports, that the website, you will see that they have a huge crowd of 2K fans that's real passionate about the game. They find other things to make the games better. Rosters, college rosters that they put in the NBA. They got so many things that they do to make this game last longer or makes it more fun. So y'all gotta stop defending Steel City. They're not passionate. As said, a boxing game made for boxing fans by boxing fans. That was a lie. I was like, hold up. I don't see no passion. When they didn't talk like boxing fans. And I know a lot of y'all be like, Coach, sometimes you be over the top with certain things. You ain't gotta be a boxing fan to make a boxing game. Shut up. All right, here we go. Small studios care. Hold on, let me read it again. Why is 2K better than other companies? Because boxing games require skill and system, not just passion. All right. I think you need passion. I mean, well, it's not just passion, but I think passion helps the game be better. All right. Small studios care deeply but lack resources and long-term runway. Arcade-focused studios prioritize speed and flash over realism and fatigue. All right, I ain't gonna mess with that. Esports-driven publishers overbalance everything. Uh-oh. 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 Esports-driven publishers overbalance everything. Who always say that word? Well, we gotta balance the game. Oh yeah, every interview or you hear Ash say balance, balance, balance. Balance is code words, hybrid. Balance, overbalancing the game. It leans more into the arcade realm. Y'all always think Poe don't know what he's talking about. Poe just keep talking. He just making videos just to get seen. I don't care about being seen. I'm technically a shy person. I'm an older guy, but that don't make you not shy anymore. I'm a father. Yeah, my wife would tell you, saying my husband really is not around a lot of people like that. Even though I have a lot of friends in the street, I have a lot of friends. But everybody see me as the quiet guy. I just get amped up. Now I can get overly amped up when somebody's talking about something that I like or engage in. But enough about me and my history. Okay. 2K strength is system design. 2K strength is systems design. Long-term career ecosystems. EA, even though it had a better career mode, Steel City had a better idea, but they didn't execute it better than what it was. If they would have executed what the career mode actually should have been, or was advertised to be, it would have been better. But with 2K, their career modes and stuff, always been in love with 2K. I know it's little things, off and wonky and stuff like that you might, but 2K always loved their career modes. Just that I used to I'm always gonna ask you to add on something more that because I'm always thinking of ideas. 2K strength is system designs, long-term career ecosystems. Customization and sliders, sustainable content pipelines. That doesn't guarantee success, but it gives them better odds than anyone else. Hold up. That doesn't guarantee success, but it gives them better odds than anyone else. I think it guarantees success, 100%. Shout out to Don D205. We were discussing this and I broke it down, like why would 2K make a better boxing game? We were talking about that yesterday on this podcast. Not in depth, but we were talking about it. Let me see who popping in. All right, here we go. Salute E-Boxing Champions. He came up in. I'm glad y'all in here. What's up, Leafy? I had a guy who had a very popular VR game played my game today at school. And he was shocked at how good it was. That's great, man. That's great. And I got to talk to you behind the scenes. Because you got to keep pushing. Keep pushing. I'll talk to you behind the scenes. We talking about Y2K will make a great boxing game. And I know everybody get triggered when I mention 2K. For it's a couple of reasons. Like a lot of people, they get triggered when people say 2K because the first thing they think about monetization, DLC, microtransactions, things like that. But the monetization is not going to go away when it comes to boxers. My thing is 2K make a great boxing game. Yeah, 2K would destroy everybody. I think they would make people not want to, like, hold up, I don't think I want to make a boxing game. They made the best boxing game ever. Why should I make a game? But let me finish reading the questions that people were asking. That was asking. Here go a question. Won't 2K water down realism to chase casuals? Won't 2K water down realism to chase casuals? Nah, that's a EA and Steel City thing. That's a Will Kinsler thing. That's a publisher thing. That's them. They stuck 15, 20 years ago in the past. They're old men. Poe, old man, why isn't Poe thinking like they're thinking? Because Poe thinks realistically. I got $1 million brain. I mean, $1 million brain with 5 cents in my pocket. But the thoughts in my mind, you can't stop it. Bars. All right, here we go. Won't 2K water down realism to casuals? They might, and that's a risk. But here's what people misunderstand. Casual players aren't scared of death. They're not. That's why a lot of people transfer over to 2K. People don't realize the people from NBA Live, they went over to 2K. They start dumbing it down, not dumbing it down. They start adding things for them casual fans. I think what, 3 or 4 years later, after EA stopped making games. I wish EA kept making basketball games, because that would have let 2K keep making their game more realistic. All right, let me read this question over again. Won't 2K water down realism to chase casual? They might, and that's a risk. I don't think so. But here's what people misunderstand. Casual players aren't scared of death. They're scared of confusion. Nobody's explaining anything to them. Even in boxing, nobody's explaining anything to them. And they think what they did, because a lot of them, they don't do research. They don't really watch boxing. They pick one boxing match and say that's the way every boxer is supposed to fight. You're an idiot. Respectfully. All right. Death with option works. Death without explanation doesn't. If 2K flatten mechanics instead of offering sliders and assists, they'll lose both fans. If 2K flatten mechanics instead of offering sliders and assists, they'll lose both fans. Both fan base, they will lose them. And this is the stuff I'm talking about. How do Poe know so much of this stuff? I pay attention to details. I pay attention to the scenery of gaming. I don't only play games. I'm up there trying to figure out different things. Hold up, how I'm gonna get this? And you know, a lot of people, they just talk, but they don't come back with no information that they could say, hey, look, this can be implemented. Me, that's why I tell everybody, anything they think can't be added in a boxing game, post it, and I will show you that it can be made in a boxing video game. Anything. It's just that a lot of y'all probably gonna post something that's will be kind of stupid to be in a boxing game and a little over the top, a little too much. But all right, if they offer layered systems with optional assists, they will satisfy both audiences. If they offer layered systems with optional, that's the key word right there that I always say with Steel City. Optional. Options. They don't have enough options in the game. Or working options. If they offer layered systems with optional assists, they will satisfy both audiences. The choice is philosophical, not technical. All right. What's the biggest red flag fans should watch for? All right. What's the biggest red flag? And this should apply to Steel City. This should apply to Steel City. All right. What's the biggest red flag fans should watch for? Easy. The moment you see attributes for sale, faster recovery for money, power boost, competitive advantages. Walk away. Y'all better hurry up and walk away. Those are non-negotiables. Cosmetics, fine. Cosmetics, fine. Boxer packs, fine. Story expansions, fine. Money touching boxers' ability. That's the line. That's the line that should not be crossed. Money touching boxers' abilities. Could 2K ruin boxing even if they mean well? Yes. They could ruin it by overbalancing styles. Ash Habib, we have to do some more balance. I don't got his voice, my voice too deep, but he always talk about balance. I hear developers balance and balance and balance and balance. I already know that's a key word. That's a code word. Balancing. They would ruin it by overbalancing styles. That's what Steel City is doing. They will ruin it by normalizing stamina. They will and that's the thing too. Each boxer, and you can say like, isn't that like fighting games? Some, yeah. But each boxer have different tanks. They have different stamina tanks. So this should be implemented. Hey, offline, get people to do it for offline and let the casual play. Then you do all that balancing stuff online. Offline, no. All right, they will ruin it forcing action they will ruin it by forced action for analytics. They will ruin it by ignoring boxing historians and trainers. And I'm going to add, and passionate fans. Passionate boxing fans that know what they're talking about. Because some people, they're passionate, but they're passionate casuals. And they shouldn't, we don't need your input. Nah. They can ruin it by treating boxers. No, they can ruin it by treating boxing like an e-sport. E-sport boxing club. ESBC. They can ruin it by treating boxing like an esports. Good intentions don't save bad philosophy. Good intentions don't save bad philosophy. Boxing demands humility. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. I'm a very casual boxing fan. I mean, basketball fan, but I love the realistic basketball games in the past, like NBA Live 10. Yeah, exactly. Me, I liked a lot of sports games, but I expect more of me because it's the way I think. I always want things to elevate. I want to be able to control the narrative of like when people like if I'm sitting by somebody, me and you watching a boxing fight. I'm talking to y'all chat. Well, I'm talking to whoever listens to this. Now, if me and you sitting by each other and we're watching a boxing match and we see somebody doing certain things and we say, oh man, why is he running? Why is he moving too much? If he would have stayed there and just moved a little bit, he could have knocked him out. All right. But when you're playing a boxing game, you're still keep doing that same complaining when you can control the narrative. You're complaining. It's no reason why people should be complaining about what boxing is when you can control what happens in the ring. So you think you should. It's like somebody watching somebody playing checkers or chess, and they said, hey, I could beat him, but your strategy doesn't line up enough to beat him. Let me get back to the questions. I got a lot of them. I think there's some good questions too. So, should fans support or reject a 2K boxing game? Should fans support or reject a 2K boxing game? Neither. Blindly. Neither blindly. Fans shouldn't instantly celebrate or instantly boycott. They should ask hard questions. They should demand clarity up front. They should hold lines on monetizations and realism. Trust should be earned, not assumed. These are the things that we should be asking Steel City. But a lot of people be like, oh, man, shut up. You know, they be telling us to shut up. And so I think it's people it's almost like Arc Raiders a little bit, but I don't want to get into that. But there's a lot of people, they like defend Steel City. And it's like you got that one friend that has a action figure, and y'all playing with your action figures, and his character his action figure only had one leg. His mother bought the action figure. No, he didn't break it and it had one leg. His mother bought it or got it from a thrift store with one leg. And he's going to defend it. He's going to defend it at all costs. You might not say nothing. Hey, all right, he got a character. He enjoying it. He enjoying it. And that's how I take it. But the thing is, when people, quote unquote, have that character with a broken leg, they want you to accept that. They want you to accept that they okay with something being broken and not representing the product. They want you to be quiet. Oh, you gonna mess up the game by saying something? I'm gonna mess up a boxing game? I'm gonna mess up a boxing game. Somebody that boxed. Somebody that was a decorated amateur. I'm gonna mess up a boxing game. But you're sitting back and you're a decorated snack eater. You are a decorated garbage collector or something like that. I don't want to get too deep into it, but stop attacking people that want better. That because your life is mediocre and you really don't care about anything, be quiet. Let the people that know what they're talking about speak and stop trying to silence them. We're not looking for attention at all. I'm not looking for attention. If I look for attention, trust me, I will be doing this more focused and I will be pushing harder. But I got more passion than any of y'all have in y'all pinky. I'm talking to developers. I'm constantly, all the time, no matter what y'all call it, a lot of people say, oh, you just stalking, you're just pushing yourself on these developers and stuff. They can block me. They can block me. But they're not. They engage. They watch my vlogs that I make and everything. I got over 300 or 400 people that actively watch my blogs. It lets me know the same people watch my blogs that I post on LinkedIn. So stop, y'all. It's like y'all be getting annoying at some point, trying to make people be quiet because y'all scared it might turn into a realistic boxing game. And realism does not mean slow motion. You're in control of the fight. But a lot of y'all like y'all really getting hit. And shout out to Beast. Beast know what I'm talking about. All right, give me a second. Got a lot more questions I'm gonna get through. Y'all still here? I guess people pop in. All right. Why does boxing seem harder to get right than other sports? Because boxing is a numbers sport. It's a human degradation sport. Degradation sport. That gone. That's where I never. All right, whatever. All right. Most sports reset every day. Most sports reset no, I said it wrong. Most sports reset every play. Boxing carry damage forward. Fatigue. Most sports reset every day. Boxing damage forward. Fatigue compounds. Injury lingers. Confidence breaks. Styles unravel under pressure. That makes it incredibly hard to simulate without deep AI. How did Poe know these things? It makes it incredibly hard to simulate with deep AI. You know what? Steel City doesn't have an AI engineer or developer. Steel City doesn't have an AI engineer or developer. Poe, how did you know this? I'm not going to say the person's name, but they told me that works for Steel City. They say, "Oh, we don't have an AI guy anymore. He left. What was his name? We called him Little Mac. Said Little Mac left, and that was like over 2 years ago. So they didn't have an AI, and they feel like they don't need an AI, a deep AI guy. I mean, an AI guy in general, AI engineer. It's probably one somebody on the team that said, "Hey, we don't need a AI guy. I can do it." No, that's not his specialty. He learned some AI when he was in school. No, that's not his specialty. An AI guy, that's their specialty. An AI engineer, that's their specialty. That makes it incredibly hard to simulate. That makes it incredibly hard to simulate without deep AI, long-term memory systems. Long-term memory systems, they don't have these in the game. Willingness to let fights be ugly. Willingness to let fights be ugly. A lot of people want boxing matches to almost be scripted. A boxing match is supposed to look like this. No, every boxer don't fight the way they're supposed to fight. Every fight is not blueprinted like, hey, he supposed to have did this, he supposed to did. That's not how it does work in real life. I be hearing people that's actual boxing fans say the same thing. Oh man, he came out there, kept throwing 2 right hands and a hook. That's real boxing. It's wrong to some people, but that's real boxing. It's times that when I was boxing, I'm short to most people that I fought. I will fake my jab and throw a right hand. Or I wouldn't even fake the jab. I do the movement like I'm going to do it. I'll feint and throw the right bow. So people be making up all these different scenarios when they're not right. Most companies don't want that risk. They don't want the risk of bringing on people for deep AI, long-term memory systems, willingness to let fights be ugly. And that's crazy. That's why I be saying everybody that say they're a boxing fan is not really a boxing fan. Let me see what the chat's saying. Yeah, yep, exactly. All right. Why can't MMA games exist but boxing struggles? Why can't MMA games exist but boxing struggles? Because MMA allows multiple win conditions. Because MMA allows multiple win conditions, more chaos, more margin for error. If strikes feel off in MMA, grappling can save it. Y'all heard that? If striking feel off in MMA, grappling can save it. I'm thinking maybe clinching could have saved the game. That's just me thinking. All right, boxing has nowhere to hide. If footwork, stamina, and distance is wrong, the entire game collapses. That's why boxing exposes bad design faster than any other sport. And that's what I'm noticing. Boxing exposes bad design faster than almost any sport. What's one thing fans underestimate when judging boxing games? What's one thing fans underestimate when judging boxing games? Fatigue realism. Most fans focus on punch animation, roster size, graphics, but boxing lives in how tired arms feel in rounds 9, how movement slows subtly, how reaction time drops before power. If a game gets fatigue wrong, nothing else matters. If a game gets fatigue wrong, nothing else matters. This something that this because sliders really fix realism issues. Sliders don't fix bad designs, but they reveal honest design. Well, how do Poe know these things? Sliders don't fix bad design, but they reveal honest designs. Sliders sliders allow different errors. Sliders sliders allow different rule interpretations. Sliders allow different player tolerances. The problem isn't sliders. The problem is when sliders are used to hide shallow systems. But we ain't got to worry about that with Steel City. The problem is when sliders are used to hide shallow systems. 2K strength is letting players expose the truth. 2K strength is letting players expose the truth. 2K give you sliders. Sliders for tendencies, everything. They give you sliders. So the people that's complaining about 2K, it's the monetization. But you still have sliders to play the way you want to. They fall into that trap. What's the biggest lie fans are told about boxing games? That realism and fun are opposite. That realism and fun are opposite. That's why when I ask them say certain words, I pick up on them immediately, but nobody else pick up on them. So the game can be fun. We got to do certain things so the game can be fun. We can't make the game too hardcore for boxing fans or hardcore fans, it won't be fun. Who the heck is telling you that? Will, who the heck is telling you that? Will, the publisher, investors. Realism is fun because when you're watching a real fight, that is realism. That is fun. You going there to enjoy yourself. So stop making up stuff on the what as things, as y'all keep developing stuff. Y'all making up stuff. And at this point, Ash, you got to keep it real with yourself and with your fan base. They always say realism is not fun. All right, let me read this again. What's the biggest lie fans are told about boxing games? That realism and fun are opposite. They're not. What people actually mean is I don't want consequences. Ash, that's what you're saying. I don't want consequences. Real boxing is fun because it's punishing. Uh-oh. Real boxing is fun because it's punishing. It's strategic at some points for some boxers. Remove punishment and you remove meaning. Remove punishment and you remove meaning. And when I say punishing, I don't mean that it's gonna be a slugfest, it's gonna be a brawl fest, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. All right. Why do developers fear letting players lose? Uh-oh. Because modern design obsess over retention, engagement, positive feedback loops. But boxing is built on loss. Because boxing is built on loss. Loss teaches patience. Loss teaches force adjustments. Loss creates respect for skills. A boxing game that protects players from losing isn't boxing. It's training. It's training wheels. You putting training wheels on. I keep hearing people saying that a lot. You got to take the training wheels off, Ash. I think I heard King Juice said it. I think I heard J MMA say it. But I gotta get on you, Jay. But I'm not gonna get on you in this episode. Because you kind of fell back a little bit. You said that, but you didn't double down on that. Let me see who in the chat. I'm on a different screen than I am with the chat. Leafy said, well, in MMA games, if the striking is smooth or realistic, I wouldn't like it, even if grappling is clean. Okay. I pick up on it too, Poe. It's all excuses. It is 100% excuses. What's said the last part, I pick up. Legendary Boxing 2026 said, I pick up on it too, Poe. It's all excuses. And Leafy said, well, in MMA games, if the striking isn't smooth or realistic, I won't like it, even if grappling is clean. Respect. All right. Should online balance even matter in a boxing sim? This is a good one to talk about. Should online balance even matter in a boxing sim? It matters, but it should never lead. It matters, but should never lead. Online should adapt to realism, not the other way around. If realism is sacrificed for online players, styles flatten, exploits rise, identity disappear. Boxing has never been equal. Why should the game be? Ash, you got to make it fair. Everybody got the loose foot movement. Every boxer does certain things. And I'm like, yo, that's not what how Ash is talking. It's like people mind is so limited that they don't realize what Ash was saying in the beginning. Ash wanted a realistic or hardcore boxing game. So Ash is saying a lot of things that changed when you listen to him talk now. So they're like, it's like they don't clone Ash or they don't program him to speak the way they want him to speak. Let me read this one again. This question. Should online balance even matter in a boxing sim? It matters, but it should never lead. Online should adapt to realism, not the other way around. If realism is sacrificed for online play, styles flatten, exploits rise, identity disappear. Boxing has never been equal. Why should the game be? That's what I be saying. It's no difference. They want everybody to be the same across. Even when you play fighting games, there are players that have uniqueness about themselves. They have strengths. They have styles and stuff like that you have to learn to beat. But y'all want to pump down a boxing game. It almost seems intentionally. What's the danger of everyone? What's the dangers of everyone should be viably thinking? It destroys style. Hold up. In real boxing, some styles lose to others. Let me read that again. And in real boxing, some styles lose to others. Some boxers struggle in certain areas. Some boxers are matchup dependent. If everyone is visible, no, if everyone is viable at everything, there's no strategy, only preference. Why do legends feel wrong in many boxing games? Why do legends feel wrong in many boxing games? Because developers treat legends as power fantasies, highlight machines, instead of products of their era. Fighters with real weaknesses. Legends were great because they mastered limits, not because they had none. Exactly. What should fans listen for in development interviews? What should fans listen for in developer interviews? See, Poe knows his stuff. Y'all love to disrespect me because I'm older. If I was probably about 18, 19, 20, or probably in my early 30s, y'all probably give me more respect. But y'all think is y'all like to disrespect older people. Y'all say, hey, let's disrespect them. I disrespect my mother and father, so I'm gonna disrespect them too. That's what I get. Maybe y'all don't, but you should respect everybody. Don't get mad because somebody have a different point of view. All right, why should fans listen? What should fans listen for in developer interviews? Listen for words like balance. Listen for words like balance. Listen for words like fair. Listen for words like accessibility. Listen for words like fast pace. I heard Ash say all of these words in that last interview. But I start hearing them say balance like 4 or 5 when Will got here. The balance, I start hearing that when Will got there. Will Kinsler. I was trying not to talk about him, but yeah, when Will Kinsler got there, that's when the word balance became a thing. And then they'd be like, well, there gotta be some balance in the game. Does there really? Styles make balance. Gameplay makes balance. Not force balance, because you're never going to achieve it. And that's the craziest thing. Y'all keep talking about balance, balance, balance. We gotta make balance. Man, shut up. Ash, Will, and whoever else think that the game need balance. You don't know what you're talking about. Styles make balance. The way you play makes balance. But when you force it, because they're trying to force a hybrid model, a hybrid way of thinking on people. Nobody wants a hybrid or arcade game. If that's what's going to be, Undisputed 2, it's going to fail. It's going to sell less games. These words aren't bad words, but without context, they are red flags. And when I hear the words, I already know they are red flags. I know exactly what they mean because the gameplay tells you what they mean. What you want to hear is asymmetrics, fatigue, decision making, consequences, style identity. Language reveals philosophy. Can a boxing game educate fans without being boring? Can a boxing game educate fans without being boring? Yes, if education is experienced, not explained. Yes, if education is experienced, not explained. You don't teach boxing by tutorials. You teach boxing by letting players get gassed out, letting poor footwork get punished, letting bad habits fail. Experience teaches faster than text ever will. What's the single most important promise a boxing developer can make? This one's simple. You cannot buy boxing skill. What's the single most important promise a boxing developer can make? You cannot buy boxing skill. If a company can commit to that and mean it, they already earned more trust than most. The reason fans ask so many questions about boxing games is simple. They've been burnt before. Caring enough to ask hard questions isn't negativity. It's investment. And boxing needs that level of scrutiny if it's ever going to move forward. Let me see. Oh, I ran through them questions. Um, Let me see. Give me a second. Give me a quick second. I'm typing something. I'm trying to stretch this out a little longer. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. I pick up on it too, Paul. It's all excuse. Okay. Let me see. All right. What to watch for before trusting a boxing game? I'm giving y'all a red flag checklist. What to watch for before trusting a boxing game? Immediate walk away red flags. Attributes purchasable with money. Stamina or recovery boost for sale. Punch power upgrades via currency. Competitive advantages tied to spending. Serious warning signs. Everyone is valuable at everything language. That's Ash IB. That's his that's his mindset now. Everyone is valuable at everything language. Overuse of balance without context. Ash IB. I'm probably hit some more of Ash IB code words he's saying. Poe, how do you know this stuff? Keep telling y'all I've been doing this for years. I wish I was more outspoken back then and making videos. I would probably be in a studio right now. But that's neither here or there. All right. Serious warning signs. No mention of fatigue or decline. No mention of no box historians, trainers, or fighters, boxers consulted. So that right there, that's one of my biggest things. Even though there's other things that I see as being big, but they don't have no boxing historians, no trainers, no boxers consulting. I know CB said he boxed. I know CB said he boxed. And no shade to Jay Shep. And I'm going to leave it right there. That's my guy. But I don't know if they're listening to him when he says certain things. All right. Online balance driven offline design. Online balance driven offline design. I would talk about this all the time. Online balancing, but it's also based for offline too. Why aren't there two different systems? All right, caution flags. Caution flags. Ask questions. Y'all gotta ask questions. Y'all don't ask these questions. Y'all should write a list of some of the stuff that I'm saying. Fast pace as a core design goal. Caution flags. Simplified stamina systems. Caution flag. Ledges with no weaknesses. Caution flag. Career mode discussed vaguely. Career mode discussed vaguely. Caution flag. Sliders treated as optional, not core. Sarcasm. We don't have sliders. Green flags. Clear separation between monetization and ability. Green flag. Deep fatigue and wear and tear systems. I don't think Steel City, the developers think like this. Deep fatigue and wear and tear systems? They're not thinking like that. They're thinking like fighting. Hey, fighting game. Let's get a fighting game model and then call it boxing. Green flags, style limitations acknowledged. Green flags, sliders and customizations emphasized. Why do Poe know these things? No developer is telling me these things. I'm not repeating what a developer told me to say. Green flags, sliders and customizations emphasized. Green flag, willingness to let fights be slow or ugly, or whatever way you want to play it. Green flags, boxing minds involved in development. Green flag, boxing minds involved in development. And I think if I was on the team, though I don't, I'd rather for y'all just to take the ideas and send somebody. If there was a call, somebody like, hey, Paul, we want you to come. No, I think you should take this guy instead of me. Let him speak on my behalf. For one, I don't get on no airplanes anymore. Even though I've been on airplanes plenty of times, nah. Too much going on in the world for me to get on an airplane right now. All right, yeah, so they gotta let boxing minds be involved. I have a billion ideas, and all of them is boxing. They're not unachievable. They're not, we can't do it. They're not, we don't have the budget. You know why you ain't got the budget? Because y'all not being smart about it. Sponsors. But like, Paul, we got sponsors. You don't have enough. You probably got 2 low-level sponsors. You could get bigger sponsors. I know that for a fact. I know. Not just being sarcastic. I do know. Because when I was helping round for round, we could have had sponsors. We could have had, I think we would have been the best game. Nah, I don't know. We probably just would have put out a game because they think they had that philosophy of hybrid, and I wasn't with that. So I was like about to leave anyway. But I was helping them, and they were like, if y'all got a game model and it's working and everything, we'll sponsor you. That's all the lady told me. She said, we will sponsor you. Just make sure you put our logos in your game. Depending on how many times of the placement of the logos, you get more money. I'm gonna leave that alone because people still don't hear it, because their thing is they will get the sponsors like EA did, which I'm pretty sure that was my idea. EA will snatch it up and they will use it for their benefit and don't use it for the benefit of the community. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. What's up, Solo? No unblocked Solo. Salute. Corey Payton. Nope. He said, nope, they don't. Yeah, I appreciate everybody that said, please hit that like button. Please, please. Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. All right. All right. Question. Why do punches sometimes feel scripted in boxing games? Because animation priority overrides situational context. When animations aren't driven by balance, distance, fatigue, timing, punches feel can instead of earned. Let me read this question again and then the answer. Why do punches sometimes feel scripted in boxing games? Because animation priority overrides situational context. When animations aren't driven by balance, I hate that word. Ash made me hate that word. Steel City made me hate that word. When animations aren't driven by balance, distance, fatigue, and timing, punches feel canned instead of earned. And balance in this situation does not mean hybrid or the arcade crap. All right. Should boxers miss more in a realistic boxing game? And this is another thing, even with the hardcore heads too. Should boxers miss more in realistic boxing games? Yes. Yes, you should be missing more, especially if you're not closing the distance. They don't want to be able to move in closer to close the distance or do different things to close the distance. Should boxer miss more in a realistic boxing game? Let me read my answer. Yes, missing is information. Missing is information. I know my stuff. Missing is information. It teaches range. Yup. You're learning now. I'm teaching you. We're in school right now. Missing is information, data that you're gathering. It teaches range. You know what your range is now. You just missed that punch. Hey, I missed that punch. I'm not close enough. Timing. You got to time your punches too. Or he's moving back when I do this, or he keep moving back. Timing. You got to time him. And restraint. It teaches range, timing, and restraint. You know when not to do something or when to do something. Constant connection removes the thinking part of boxing. I've been saying that for the longest as a former boxer. Constant connection removes the thinking part of the game. But you shouldn't just be missing punches on purpose. Like how this, a lot of people are like, well, we missing punches with this scene. That's not what I'm talking about. But constant connection removes the thinking part of boxing. And you should, if the person is using defensive tactics, you should miss punches. If you're throwing punches and you're not in range, you should be missing punches. Everything should be about the range. Person think if you're 6 feet away from somebody, you still should be able to punch somebody. Not at all. Why do combinations often feel unnatural? Yeah. Some people say, oh no, they feel natural and undisputed. No, they don't. And I would even say I know, Don D, you're gonna say you're gonna probably try to tear into me about this, but they don't. It's you, like Don D, when he plays Fight Night, he crafted to make it look better than what it was. But the combinations in boxing games don't feel natural or look natural. Because most games treat combos as inputs instead of decisions under pressure. Real combos emerge from openings, not button memory. Real combos emerge from openings, not button memory. Shall boxing punches actually slow fights down? Hold on. My fault. Shall body punching actually slow fights down? Absolutely. Punching to the body should slow a boxer down, not the fight. The boxer down, because you digging, depending on what kind of body shot you hit him with. Because you could catch him good and drop him in the first round, depending on how he lets you get him. If you get caught right, you're dropping, or drop not knocked out. Some people might get knocked out. Depends. But depending on your resilience. All right. Should body punching actually slow fights down? Absolutely. Body work is supposed to reduce output, footwork, and confidence over time. A lot of people don't know that. Body work is supposed to reduce output, footwork, and confidence over time, not just drain a bar. That's why I used to be okay with the bars, but now the more that I evolved with video gaming, I don't want to see no bar on the screen. It could be an option, but I don't think they should be on the screen. To me, that's lazy development. Why do many games fail to represent pressure fighters correctly? And I know a lot of people who play Fight Night and Steel City Undisputed is going to defend this. Why do games fail to represent pressure fighters correctly? Listen to the words that I said. Correctly. Because you would say, hey, I'm pressure fighting correctly. Because pressure isn't aggression. You're learning now, huh? Right? Pressure isn't aggression, it's positioning, patience, and attrition. Most games confuse pressure with non-stop punching. Most games confuse pressure with non-stop punching. Can defensive boxers ever feel exciting in games? Can defensive boxers ever feel exciting in games? Yes. If defense creates frustration. That's what some people do defense for, to frustrate you. If defense create frustration, missed punches, and visible fatigue in the opponent, defense should cause drama, not avoid it. Defense should cause drama, not avoid it. By frustration, missed punches, and visible fatigue. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Nothing. All right. All right. Why do counter punchers often feel overpowered or useless? Why do counter punches often feel overpowered or useless? And before I even read my answer, I'm going to just go off the dome. A good counter puncher is very dangerous. And a lot of people always feel that, hey, they got more power than me, but it's not. You could be a person that don't have any power, but you're a good counterpuncher. Counterpuncher don't necessarily equals power. It's just that you just got another point. All right, let me read this. Because counterpunches are often tuned as damage bonuses instead of a timing reward ties to risk. Counters are often tuned as damage bonuses instead of timing rewards tied to risk. Because countering somebody could be a risk too. Should timing windows change as boxers get tired? Yes. Fatigue should affect reaction time, coordination, and recovery, not just speed. Why does head movement often feel spammy? Why does head movement often feel spammy? Because it lacks cost. Real head movement drains legs, balance, and focus. Without cost, it becomes abuse. Head movement. My head movement, did it ever bother my legs? My head movement never. I don't know. I guess in the game world it fits, but head movement shouldn't mess with your legs unless you get cracked in the head while you're doing your head movement. All right. Should clinching exist even if fans dislike it? Yes, clinching is a control tool, a fatigue reset, a psychological weapon. Boxing without clinching is incomplete. To the people in the background, clinching is a control tool, a fatigue reset, and a psychological weapon. Boxing without clinching is incomplete. And a lot of y'all, to me, even a lot of casual people in the street, they know if they clinch or hold somebody, they can get their breath back. I have fights in the street. A person like, hold on, man, hold on. Let me get my breath back. We're fighting. What are you talking about? Get your breath back. Hold up, I'm tired, man. Hold up. No, we're fighting. That makes no sense. It's like people bringing street stuff into real boxing or real fighting. It's crazy. Why do most games avoid realistic clinch mechanics? Because they slow the pace and frustrate players who want constant action. But frustration is part of boxing. Y'all too weak. A lot of y'all too weak, too sensitive. Y'all like the fourth or fifth generation of being under the household of females. No disrespect to anybody, because there's a lot of great mothers out there, but there's a lot of great mothers that emotionalize their children. They over emotionalize about everything, but I'm not get off of that topic. Why do most games avoid realistic clinch mechanics? Because they slow the pace and frustrate players who want constant action. But frustration is part of boxing. Will Kinsler, Ash Habib, Steel City, EA, all these different companies. Should referees actively change how fights play? Yes. Should referees actively change how fights play? Yes. Referee strictness, break speed, and warnings thresholds should influence tactics. Let me read that again. Yes, referees strictness, and when I say strictness, referees have different strictness. They have different ways they referee the fight. Some referees will let you almost unalive each other, and some won't. Why are fouls almost never meaningful in boxing games? I was saying this too. I be picking up on all this stuff. Why are fouls almost never meaningful in boxing games? Because enforcing them requires consequence systems. Because enforcing them require consequence systems, point deductions, momentum shifts, crowd reaction, which most games avoid. I knew these things. Once they start taking things away, that was lazy development, lazy developers. If it was up to the developers, they would work 15 minutes a day for a full check. That means they have no passion for this game. Should corner advice actually matter? Uh-oh, here we go. We're getting deeper. Poe getting deeper. Should corner advice actually matter? Yes. Corner feedback should adjust AI tendencies, stamina management, and risk control tolerance between rounds. For AI, that means if you're playing offline or online, because you can have an online trainer that has AI, and the online AI trainer sees what's going on in the ring. It can be implemented. They should have, like, online, there should be a trainer pool, and you're able to pick the trainer that you want your boxer to choose. And the AI goes according to that trainer IQ and his way of training when he's giving feedback. That can be done 100%. I know y'all be like, Poe want too much and he expect too much. You're darn tootin'. It could be done. And when companies tell you, no, that's going to take too long. No, it's not. It's just that they don't want to do it. And y'all keep accepting it. Why do most boxing games ignore psychology? Because confidence, fear, and pressure are harder to quantify, but they're central to real boxing outcomes. Can momentum be realistic without being rubber banding? Here we go. This is another one. Can momentum be realistic without being rubber banded? Yes. If momentum comes from damage, fatigue, and missed punches, not hidden boost. Not hidden boost. Why does AI often feel robotic in later rounds? I'm mixing them in. I know you said, oh, AI. I'm mixing them in. Offline, online. It's just in general. Why does AI often feel robotic in later rounds? Because many systems don't evolve decisions under fatigue. AI should become sloppier, riskier, or even more cautious, depending on style or the boxer. Should AI ever run or stall late? Yes. Ring survival is a real tactic. Ring survival is a real tactic. Penalize it through judging, not removal. Penalize it through judging, not removal. And judging is another topic I get on another day. Now, a lot of y'all might get mad at my judging post. I might actually get one of my judging friends to come on the show, a real judge. That would make a decent show. All right. Why do judges for random in most games? Because scoring criteria aren't surface or weighed clearly. Real judging is biased, but consistently biased. Because scoring criteria aren't surface or weighted clearly. Real judging is biased, but consistently biased. Each judge might see something different from different angles, or they might be judging the fight off of certain things. One judge might go for your ring generalship. One judge might go off of your boxing. One judge might go off of how aggressive you are. Different things like that. So when you're playing the game, it's kind of hard to do online, but offline, you know what a judge brings to the table. Or if they give you what they call a description of the judge, you know what he brings to the table, and you know what to watch out for each judge. You learn the judges. That's how we were doing in real boxing. We know what each referee brings to the table and what each judge, how they judge the fight. Should judging styles differ by era or region? Absolutely. Aggression, defense, and damage have not always been valued equally. Aggression, defense, and damage have not always been valued equally. Why do damage visuals often feel disconnected from performance? Because swelling and cuts are cosmetic instead of mechanically linked to vision, confidence, or defense. Why does damage visuals often feel disconnected from performance? Because swelling and cuts are cosmetic instead of mechanically linked to vision, confidence, or defense. Should injuries persist across fights and career modes? Yes. Long-term damage creates strategy, recovery decisions, and meaningful risks. Let me see what the chat is talking about. Chat quiet. Why do most games reset fighters too cleanly after fights? Why do most games reset boxers? I hate saying fighters. Boxers too cleanly after fights. Because performance scares designers. No, that's wrong. Because permits scares designers, but permanence is more. But permanence is what makes boxing careers meaningful. Why do most games reset boxers too cleanly after fights? Because permanence scares designers, but permanence is what makes boxing careers meaningful. Can boxing games support both sim and casual fans without compromise? Yes, through options, sliders, assists, and transparency, not through flattened systems. How do I know these things? Question: what's the ultimate test of a serious boxing game? If playing patiently, intelligently, and defensively is just a valuable and sometimes more effective than chasing knockout. Hold up. What's the ultimate test of a serious boxing game? If playing patiently, intelligently, and defensively is just as valuable and sometimes more effective than chasing knockouts. All right. If a boxing game only feels good when you're winning fast, it's not boxing. Real boxing games should reward restraint, punish impact patience, teach humility, expose bad habits. That's not niche, that's the sports. I'm trying to see if I should end the show. Let me see. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. It might decide. Chat don't went silent, and I don't know if that's a what's called them error. But yeah, I'm about to end the show. Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh, that's Beast calling. All right, let me end the show. Peace. Oh, let me give our shout out before I say peace. Shout out to Don D 205. He's on Twitch. He's on Twitter. He's on Instagram. Pop in, give him that love, and then leave back out. Peace, Legendary Boxer 2026. Appreciate you popping in. And whoever's still here shadow watching, please hit the like button on your way out. Even if you just pop in and you see the video, hit the like button, please. The show will only get better. I will be able to get more guests because they'll see that I got the fan base. Look, hey, you got a fan base that's worth me wasting my time. You know, I get referees. I can get different people here. I might get one of my friends. It'll be crazy if I can get my friend Harvey Doc on here, but or I could get my Anthony Lynn Indigo 72. A lot of y'all know him from the Fight Night days. But yeah, let me give my shout outs. Shout out to Don D 205. Shout out to oh yeah, I ain't shout out you in a long time. Shout out to my guy Marky Pablo. Shout out to Brian Brizzle Hayes. Shout out to AJ Pax, my co-host. Shout out to Leafy. Shout out to that is a lot of y'all that I be forgetting, and I apologize. Just shout out to everybody because I don't want to be here forever. But shout out and peace, and please keep supporting the show. It will only get better. It will only get better because if my show does better, I do better. I'm not a talker. You should be able to hear because sometimes I get hoarse from talking a lot. That's why that's another reason why I like co-hosts, so they could fill in and I ain't got to talk that much. But if y'all want to pop in and be on the show, hey, you ain't got to be like, hey, I don't have nothing really to say that, industry-wise. Come on the show and talk about ideas that you want in the game, what you don't like, different things like that. But until the next show, peace. This is Poe, and I'm out. Love, peace.